All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's been doing good. It's been quite a while since I've made the time to upload a video, and I guess we'll just kind of like consider this a summer update. I'm not going to be doing a shave in this video. I'll just kind of give you guys a, I don't know, recap of like the stuff that I've been doing, stuff that I've been using, just some of the shave stuff that I've been thinking about, or, you know, kind of so-called projects. The main reason for my absence has been partially by choice, just to give myself that downtime to not really stress or worry about having to upload a video. So I know sometimes I probably come across a little bit more like dry or passive, but I've been really busy making pottery, and I've really been enjoying myself. I mean, I've been having to really like push myself as far as when I have the free time to really focus on making pots. So when I say like I've made the choice to, you know, not really prioritize making videos, it's not that I don't want to give you guys some sort of content, because I know that a lot of you guys, you know, really do enjoy the videos or enjoy the discussions. So it's just to let you guys know that when I'm really busy, it's easier for me personally to not stress about having to make a video. It's not that I don't enjoy doing them. It's just that just with my schedule over the summer, it's been really busy. So for me to just kind of have my own time to focus on shaving and not being on video, it's a relief. It's a stress reliever. I've been shaving more frequently at night, and I just would prefer not to make like a video like at midnight or anything like that. The other thing too is in SoCal, the weather's been pretty hot, so to be able to like get a video in when it's this warm, that's another reason why it's a little easier to not make a video. So again, I apologize about the absence. It's just I've just been kind of dealing with my own stuff and trying to, like I said, prioritize getting some pieces made. And I'll show you guys some pieces right now, so just give me a second. So I'll show you 4 pieces that got made recently. This is like a collaborative piece. I made this cup, and one of my friends at the studio that I work at, he did the handle. And this was a glaze demonstration piece that I did with my class, where I have some tape resist. The whole piece gets dipped in this clear glaze, and then I poured on what's called an iron red khaki glaze. So a lot of people were kind of stoked on this. This one was cool. This is probably one of my favorite pieces in a while. So this is a little porcelain vase, and it's got this clear glaze that kind of turns out a very faint green. It's kind of like a blue-green clear glaze. And then on the outside, I don't know how well it's going to pick up, but there's a white glaze that gets sprayed on top. So you guys might see a little bit of that kind of frost or shimmer, and that's just a different thin and thick coat of this kind of white. It kind of makes like a crystal effect. So that one turned out really good. I'm real stoked on that. I got 2 more bowls. This is a bowl that I was practicing. So they make these oxide pencils that have like blue cobalt, or they might have like black iron oxide, chrome green. So there's just some faint lines that I drew on this before it got clear glazed. And for this bowl, it's kind of like a little, you know, ramen bowl, I guess a lot of people would kind of say. But this one turned out pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked on this piece. And then one more. This one's kind of the same glaze. It's a slightly different porcelain clay. This one, I forgot to clean that off. But basically, this is a little bit more, comes across more clear. Still a little bit bluish. And then I have that white glaze that was on the vase sprayed on the rim. And you can't really see it, but there's a little bit of that same white glaze sprayed on the foot. And This one's pretty translucent because of how thin it is. So if you hold this up to the light, you can see your hand through on the other side pretty well. So at least you guys can see a little bit of what I've been working on. I might as well share a couple of things that I purchased recently. We'll get into brushes in a second. I made an order with Ethos way early on this year. There was a few things that I wanted to get, and so since I've been using the SV Colonia quite a bit this last year and a half, I was kind of stoked to try out Ethos's version of the Colonia EDP. I do like the scent of this, and I have, when I was using the Colonia SV soap, I was primarily pairing that with the 70th anniversary, what's it, EDT? Because this is like an aquatic cologne, so there's a little bit of that citrus floral. I really like this, but I think that with the hot weather, I'll be using this quite a bit, and then when I'm not using like the Colonia or whatever, I'll continue using this. I like this scent quite a bit. So yeah, I just got this in this week, been using that. That works good. This was another one that I wanted to try, Mysore Sandalwood from Ethos. This I've been kind of using at night, and it's been good. It's not quite what I was expecting, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, it had been a while since I've used real sandalwood, and I think I'm just kind of still needing to wear this a little bit more to kind of see what I smell. I know Ken at Shave 326 had got that maybe like a month ago when I was messaging him. He was saying like there's kind of like that sweet side, or like a creamy note to it, which I definitely get. I think that as much as I like to pick out notes, it's sometimes I need to use something a little bit more frequently to enjoy it. So I'm still liking that. I'm really digging the fact that there's like a little real sandalwood ship in there. That's really the big thing with the Ethos products, is I think that I'm very confident with the sourcing and like how closely familiar Frank is with a lot of the different ingredients that he uses in his different products. I forget the name of the company, but I was using like a hyaluronic acid serum earlier this year. I had run out of it. I was liking it, so I went ahead and got the Ethos. This is the sensitive skin version, so like the ingredients on this one: hemp seed, avocado, borage, and we got cherry kernel oil, pumpkin seed, tamano, neem, jojoba, vitamin E. And then this one is a custom. So this one has the Colonia fragrance in it. And I already talked to Frank. The scent of this, the Colonia scent, doesn't really come through for me. So he's going to help me out, and we're going to bump up the scent on this one. But my skin's normally pretty dry, so I was excited to see that like Frank offers, I think, 3 different types of serums, and based on the ingredients that I've used in the past, like I've used hemp, avocado, borage. I haven't used cherry kernel or the tamano, but I'm pretty familiar with a lot of individual carrier oils, and have bought, you know, quite a bit of the normal, you know, readily available ones, and have used those in different ways of like creating like a, you know, skin moisturizer or like hair oils and stuff like that. So whenever I get a chance to pick from different, you know, lines that someone offers, I think that's kind of a cool option for me, rather than just having one to pick from. So couple other things I got from Ethos would be like the brush treatments. They're called Restore. This is the one that you use for cleaning. It's clarifying brush cleaner and odor eliminator. So since I've got some new knots that I'll mention, I just got this recently and started using it. This one I'm kind of stoked on, the brush conditioning treatment. And one thing that kind of caught my eye with these is that they're using like keratin. One of them has provitamin B5. I think this brush treatment one also has some mango butter. So I was kind of telling Frank, starting years ago, after like a badger brush would dry, I would like condition it using just a little bit of the SV pre-shave oil, or I would use like mango or kokum butter to just kind of keep the hair supple. So I liked some of the ingredients that he chose to put in that. So yeah, I'll be using these a lot more. I'm going to try to really get these brushes that I'll show right now broken in. So let me just go through. It was very odd, because if you guys were following my videos at all in the last, I don't know, 2 years, or just like my comments on the forum, I was to a point where I was kind of saying pretty frequently I was done buying a lot of badger brushes. And then all of a sudden, about a month ago, I just said, I just want to try some new knots again. And I ended up getting 7 new knots all at once. So that was kind of unexpected. And as I've said before, there's different times where I kind of eat my words. So as much as I said I was done buying brushes, here I am showing a bunch of new ones. So from Shave Forge, I got a 24 millimeter synthetic knot. I don't know if this is in the same realm or the same thing as the PAA Green Ray, but we'll set this sometime in a knot. The 3 badger knots that I got from Shave Forge, this is just a silver tip, and this is just normal density, 24 by, I think it's like 65 millimeter loft. So this one I think will be good. Still gonna figure out how high I want to set the loft on that. This is the high density High Mountain White. This one's been working out pretty well. I'll pop this in the handle in a moment. This is the Shave Forge handle that you can buy. I think this was like $25 or $30. This knot is the high density silver tip. So this is normal density, high density. I didn't glue this in. I just have been kind of figuring out if I want to use the spacers that I made just using a popsicle stick. And so I've just been cleaning these. I think I'm going to like the high density silver tip and the high density High Mountain White knot. I'm really impressed with the construction of them. The glue bump is not very prevalent. So in my opinion, the construction and the craftsmanship of these knots are where I like them to be. So I'm really happy with these so far. I think they're conditioned or treated enough that the softness at the tips is not over the top, but they're soft. And I think that the density works well with the shaping. So I'm really happy with these. Chances are I will actually reorder maybe even a couple more of the handles and possibly a good handful more of the knots. It's just been a while since I've really been into trying some of the new knots. I'll mention pricing in just a minute. So I had mentioned I wanted to get a Savile Row for a while. You know, I've kind of known Anthony Esposito from back in the day, and you know, if you guys watch his videos, he uses the Savile Row knots a lot. So I kind of want to mention 2 things, because this is another brush that I got, the Yaki 24 millimeter silver tip. And is that it? Is that 6, 7 brushes? I can't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it was just 6 brushes. I may be forgetting one. Okay, so I've mentioned branding when like I've had these long discussion you know, videos talking about knots or brushes and whatever. So I'm going to kind of re-emphasize more points on this. But to me, if you're a customer and you're looking at buying brushes, specifically badger brushes, I refer to branding kind of as a loose term, as really anything that might either be marketed on a website or in a description, or if it's going to be something like what they print on the actual brush or the packaging, to kind of like basically say that this is our grade, or this is what we call this knot. So branding to me is just a clue, or it's like a small bit of information that you can either take a little bit of something from, or you may take like for instance, if something is branded High Mountain White, supposedly that hair is supposed to be from a badger that was known to be at a higher elevation than a normal badger. But again, it's not like on a lot of these knots, this one's just a silver tip, so it's not like this one I'm saying is a High Mountain White, but it's not like in the past they generally will tell you this is from this elevation, or and sometimes, like if you guys buy essential oils, let's say like a high elevation French lavender, they may tell you like the harvesting notes of like how many feet elevation it was taken from. So a lot of the time, again, over these years that I've been purchasing badger brushes, I've grown more and more kind of disconnected with what the maker says or calls their badgers. I really don't care. I am more into the craftsmanship. But again, it doesn't mean that sometimes when I buy something that has so-called branding, I can sometimes see why they call it that. So like for instance, I want to get back to this. So this Savile Row, I'm under the strong impression, and other people have said this as well, that Savile Row is the private label, but this is made by Burned in Germany, who run Shave Mac. I had people mention that before I got this, and when I got it, the feeling, the look of the hair, the shaping, the density, the handle, the way that this was put, I'm more inclined to believe that this is made by Burned in Germany. So when I was working at Old Town Shaving years ago, I worked with Burned to bring in did I do 26 millimeter silver tip DO1 knots, and then we did some 24 millimeter 2-band knots, and this very much reminds me of the hair and the shape of those silver tip brushes that we got, the DO1 knots. Now this one's not quite as dense, but the way that it lathers, the heat retention, just the shaping, this very much reminds me of the quality of the Shave Mac. Like for me, finest silver tip, it's going to be different for everybody, but sometimes I think finest silver tip means it's 3-band hair that hasn't been bleached. But again, as I continue to buy more brushes, I'm less inclined to believe that there's a lot of stuff on the market that, even if it's not gel tipped, it's still gone through some sort of chemical treatment. It may have gone through boiling, it may have gone through some sort of sterilization process that doesn't automatically make those tips of the hair curl or whatnot. So I think that I don't know, there's just something about branding that I really don't care anymore about. If I was someone that was selling brushes or making brushes, I may be more inclined to try to be a little more transparent on what information is, like what am I able to divulge about the hair. It's kind of the same thing with Manchurian. That's kind of another branding term that's at least somewhat specific. If they're truthful, the hair is supposed to be coming from Manchuria, China, I believe. So I think sometimes people just assume that's supposed to mean like a really thick hair or a really backbony hair, but it makes a reference to some place. And again, it's supposed to mean that the pelt was from a area that was cooler or colder, so the hair should have more tensile strength, you know, more trunk. You know, overall, generally in the past like 5 years, when I get new knots, I don't shave with them early on. I really do a very extensive break-in period of just lathering and cleaning. The Savile Row brush, this one was $150 prior to tax and shipping. This silver tip was $40. I'll go back to my Shave Revolution. This one isn't branded on the bottom, but this is the one that I've used a lot in the past, and I've kind of said this is like my best lathering brush. I still have to kind of be inclined to believe that Justin at Shave Revolution, maybe Yaki was the maker that was helping him with his private labeling. I go back to this brush. When I bought it years ago, this was $40, and I enjoy using this beyond a lot of the more expensive brushes, the artisan brushes, the hand-tied knots. So to me, price is no indication of whether you're going to get a good or a bad knot, because again, even if you're getting a very well-made knot, you may not have like the same preferences as me and care for like a less dense knot or something that has a little bit more flow through. So for some of you guys, the quality maybe isn't always the most important thing, or the craftsmanship. Maybe you want a very dense knot that has good backbone, but you want gel tips, and that's totally fine. But this Yaki brush, I would say, is maybe even better as far as what I prefer in a brush and how this feels. This is probably better than all of the Shave Revolution brushes that I've got, which I was kind of assuming this was gonna be in the same realm as this brush. The main difference to me is I think the density of this is maybe a little bit, it's maybe a little more dense. The loft is a little higher, and overall the bloom, this just has a little bit more of a bigger presence. This one I think is a little softer as well. So I gotta tell you guys, this $40 silver tip Yaki brush, it's probably one of the best feeling badger brushes. I've used this a couple times. I used this last night actually. So I have been using the synthetic brushes a little bit less for even my daily shaves where I only have 24 hours beard growth. But that's just kind of like my little mini review. So I'm really stoked on a lot of these knots. I think they're gonna look good. Chances are, after I get them very well cleaned out, I'm still dealing with a little bit of funk and gray lather with these, but I assume maybe with about 3 to 5 more uses on these and the other Shave Forge knots, they're gonna be ready for me to kind of make a decision on how I want to set the loft, and chances are I'll probably bleach some of them to a certain degree to just soften the tips a little bit more. So I can't remember if there was something else I was going to talk about. You know, I've been playing with blades. As far as my setup, I've pretty much just been using this. Earlier this week, I did get one more shave in using the Razor Rock Lupo stainless steel, but the higher gap, the 0.95. And I think I've realized that is more blade exposure than I like, so I'm probably not going to be using that anymore. I'm going to get the Razor Rock 0.72 base plate, see how I like that. Chances are I'm going to prefer that one. But honestly, I've really been enjoying the stainless steel handle with the carbon fiber, and really just using the plus plate. Last week I was using the original base plate a little bit more. To give you guys kind of an idea, I would do my shave. Lately I've been doing like with less beard growth, first pass across the grain and then maybe in against the grain on the whole face. And that seems to work well for my shorter, 24 hours beard growth. I was even sometimes getting, just in this last month, 12-hour beard growth shaves, shaving in the morning, then shaving at night. I was getting in some like 16 to 18-hour beard growth. So sometimes it's hard to get a comfortable shave that feels as close as doing like when you've got 4 or 5 days beard growth and you get, you know, that 2 pass, 3 pass. Those I think are like the best feeling shaves. But there's just something about when there's less beard that's, you know, actually come out, be it visible or not. It's, for me, just harder to have a really fun shave that feels just like super sleek and, you know, good. But I would say, since you guys haven't been seeing me on camera, it's kind of hard to know how exciting it's going to be for people to see like a daily shave where I only have a little bit of beard growth. So anyway, I've been confident with the shaves that I've been getting, just with less beard growth. I'm kind of back on to using Kai's again. Some quick notes on blades. These I still haven't explored too much yet. These are the Gillette Goals. I've been slowly sharing these a little bit with people, so I'm curious to see what other people think. This one's from Indonesia, so I ordered these over the summer. So we'll see these. I have to revisit them. I've been doing a couple shaves here and there with these. I still think these are a pretty sharp blade, so I like these. They're a good kind of like a blade that I'm familiar with, that compared to how many times I've used other blades, these I still haven't used a ton, but these are a solid blade. I think I bought a 100 pack of these from somebody. So highly can recommend the 7 o'clocks if you guys haven't used them. These were the Chinese version of the Gillette London Bridge. I think these are really good. I don't know where my other blades went, but the original ones, I got some of the Wilkinson Sword London Bridge that are like, I don't know, maybe made in the 70s or the 80s. Those I think are like one of my top blades right now when I'm not using Kai. A couple years ago, I had got some vintage Wilkinson Sword light brigades, and on the actual razor blade itself, it was labeled new. And those I remember using the BBS one, and they were like the most memorable shave. The blade really paired nicely with that razor, and it was an easy shave, a really close shave, just really good balance. So the Wilkinson Sword London Bridge, those I would say are pretty close to like what a vintage blade should feel like, and I really like those. These I've been just as happy with, so I'll kind of keep using these throughout the year. This is another one that I started using just maybe like a couple weeks ago, and really enjoy the Gillette Platinum Coated Winners. I've been sharing these with some people too. I think these are good as well. The mileage of them, I've been getting maybe like 4 to 5 shaves, but just a really good balance of both sharpness and smoothness. I'm trying to think if there's any other blades that I've been kind of playing around with, but oh, this is what I forgot to mention. So yeah, like let's say I was using the Winners, try to recreate one of my shaves from last week. I would use the Winner with the Carbon Plus plate. I do like a 2-pass shave, and after I was done, I'd throw on, let's say, like the Colonia aftershave, or I was using Desert Vetiver. I'll talk about this in a second. But after I'd throw on the aftershave while the skin was still slick, I would use the original carbon base plate. This is the titanium one. It just happens to have the 2-tone finish. And so after that aftershave got splashed on, I'd use the original base plate to just do my last touch-up. And I was pretty much getting as close as I could for baby butt smooth, and it was working very good. Very minimal, irritation. So this was something else I got from Shave Forge. It's like a 3D printed blade holder or whatever. Sorry, I can't talk. But this has been kind of cool. I also snagged, here's like a one blade, like a little travel thing. So this holds your blade in there. I really like that. So, and it came with the dice, which I don't know if I just didn't pay attention in the listing. I didn't think it was going to come with dye, but it did. So the stuff from Shave Forge, it seems like there's not a lot of people that have been posting on the forums. I don't know how new they are, but I gotta say I'm really impressed with everything that they've that I've bought from them. So I highly recommend checking them out. I guess this is the last thing I can talk about, but the Desert Vetiver you guys saw me use earlier this year, and a lot of the comments were positive, except for kind of like I really wasn't in love with the scent. So with the heat in SoCal being so bad, this is not a scent that I want to wear in the morning or in the afternoon, like if I'm doing a midday shave. The scent is still complex. Maybe part of this is I do feel like the scent has blended more, or with it being aired out or used more, it's mellowed out. I don't know. But I will tell you guys, as much as I loved the performance of this earlier this year, the scent was really the thing that I wasn't as stoked about. This I really enjoy using for the night shaves. So I used this quite a bit last week, maybe like 4 or 5 shaves. And before, you know, getting ready in the evening, this is a pretty solid soap. It's, you know, it's more kind of like just for me, and I don't have to like worry about, is this a scent that I kind of want to, when I'm going out or, you know, going to work, is it kind of feel like it fits my personality? It doesn't, but the performance and the way that this makes my face and my skin feel, the soap works great, and I don't mind the scent in the evening. Maybe some of those notes, however complex it is, the notes do kind of work well for kind of getting you relaxed. So I don't know. I'm really stoked on this. Will I get the EDP? No, I don't care for the scent of this that much. But yeah, so that was kind of a cool thing to find, was like this soap that I don't really like the scent of. I enjoy it a hell of a lot more during a night shave, so that's kind of neat. But yeah, I don't really know what to tell you guys as far as like what to expect. I may be doing some more videos, maybe at the end of this month. These next couple months are going to be even more busy for me, so I make no promises on actual shaves, and I apologize, but it's really been that busy for me, and I'm just, like I said, really staying busy with pottery and enjoying myself. So don't be surprised if you guys see me pop in with maybe like just a little quick pottery update if I've got a bunch of new pieces I want to show you. But you know, again, I really hope everyone's doing well, staying safe. You know, as far as like what you guys are shaving with and everything, I hope that everyone's just using what they want. I know one of the things that popped up in just perusing the forums, there was this one comment by a guy that I've kind of seen on the forums, and what were they talking? I think they were talking about like tallow, you know, like tobacco being reformulated so that it doesn't have tallow, and then maybe they were talking about like some of the other European soaps that, you know, that are like vegetable. And this guy was saying something like that the SV and the MDC soaps for him were kind of like subpar, and he just kind of mentioned something about it doesn't work for his skin. And again, like when I read stuff like that, it's my videos, in my opinion, are a drop in the bucket. They're meant to be taken with a grain of salt, because I make no promises that your experience is not going to match mine. It may have you know, some things in common with your experience, but I just think it's important to remember that when you're in your own shaving journey, it's good to have the community and everyone else's opinions, but I just hope too many of you guys don't get caught up in like, if someone has a different experience than you, and I assume most of the people that watch these, there's not that many, I assume most of you guys aren't going to be like getting caught up in like an argument or, telling people if they have a different experience with a certain product that they're doing something wrong, or everyone's entitled to have their own unique experience, and they're welcome to share it. So again, I just think it's important. Use what you want, use what works well. Obviously my videos, as of the last couple years, you've seen a little bit more variation, but again, I still think that there's a lot of people that maybe like only a year into this hobby or 2 years. The hard thing is, like, how do you really know what stuff works well for you when you are constantly buying new stuff and constantly rotating between new stuff? So the last thing that I'll close out with was, I don't know if anyone knows the user Dfolk. He makes cutting edge soap. So someone was bringing up his point, and it's that for people to compare soaps in price and which one's not worth it, which one's more valuable. Dfolk, I think, said something that I've mentioned a few times, and it's that a soap that is not valuable is one that you don't use. So if people think that me, primarily using SV, I buy the most overpriced soap, or that I buy the most expensive soap, I get that. It's probably true in some ways, but I think the fact that what I try to buy is stuff that I really have the intention of, if I know that it's going to work and if I like it, I'm going to make the effort to use it and consume it. So for me, there's no fun in trying to just build up a huge collection of soaps again, because I had a tub of 200 shave soaps and creams years ago, and I love the fact that we can choose, between a bunch of different, varieties of formulas and all that stuff. So I've been there, I've done that. I think it's good, but to a degree, I think it's best for each individual to exercise some discipline at some point, to use like the same setup a few times in a row, or try to really dial in how something works for you, and if you're experiencing consistent results. Because it's very easy for people, whether they're on the forums or on YouTube, to get up here and say, I've got 2 different shave soaps, for instance, and I'm going to use shave soap 1 in this video, and in the next video I'm going to give you shave soap 2. And people give very definitive comments on, this one's better than this, or this one performs explicitly different in this aspect. And again, everyone's opinion or experience has value, it has merit. But I think that, at least for me, I've always tried to tell you guys, like, if I'm giving you a first impressions, really take it with a grain of salt. If I'm giving you guys more definitive, like, opinions or experiences of mine, I'm at least going to tell you guys, like, hey, I really like Mana di Sicilia from SV, and it's not because I just like SV, it's that I've used like 2 or 3 pucks of the Mana di Sicilia. So to go through 2 whole milled soaps, I think you guys kind of get like what I'm saying. It's that I've used those soaps enough to tell you, like, I can tell the difference between Mana di Sicilia and Tundra Arctica. So it's coming less from like my first impressions or 1 or 2 uses. So again, I just think it's important for people to, like, at some point, like, have some real serious use with whatever gear you're trying to use, or when you're trying to dwindle down your collection. I really think it's helpful. So if you guys want to like rotate a lot, go for it. I don't really care. I think that the more time you spend continuously rotating, I just think your experience it's not quite as valuable compared to like when you're giving a review of something that you've used a little bit more continuously, or like when you've really dented a product to know, like, okay, I've had a good chunk of shaves using this setup, and I can share what I think is important, whether I do or don't like something. That's what I try to do with these shave videos. So take what you can from these videos, and let me know if you guys have any questions. But again, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this, and hope you guys are all staying well, staying healthy. But yeah, I'm sure I'll get a video up sometime this month. So if you guys don't hear from me for a while, everything's cool. Hope you guys all have a good August. Starts tomorrow. But I'll talk to you guys soon, and take care.